Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk The Shining. Yeah, this is weird, guys, because I am a movie buff, and yet here's a movie that I've never actually sat down and watched, and yet I know a ton about it because it's just such a part of our collective cultural memory. I've seen parodies of it. I've watched if you watch Ready Player One, there's a whole sequence where all our main characters have to play through the movie itself. There's so many iconic shots and scenes from it, and so I feel like I've seen a lot of this movie, and yet I've never actually sat down to watch it. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, if you're a fan of the channel, you probably know horror's not really my jam. That being said, I've enjoyed exploring horror here on the channel. I went through all of Mike Flanagan's Netflix stuff, had a blast with that, even though there were definitely some absolutely cringe-inducing moments. But this also isn't your typical horror. This is, I'm assuming, more psychological horror, but it's also an old enough movie that I was too young for it when it came out, and so it was never, like, really smack dab in the middle of my radar. And the other major reason I've never checked it out is because I've never, as much as I admire Stanley Kubrick's eye, I've never been particularly drawn to his works. So I've never sought them out. His style is often very detached, clinical, and it doesn't speak to me and doesn't draw me in. But I'm curious about The Shining because it's also based on a Stephen King work. And I know King wasn't necessarily thrilled with the way Kubrick interpreted it, but it is one master interpreting another, and I'm curious to see what that dynamic's about. I haven't read a lot of Stephen King, but I appreciate a lot of his stories. I'm particularly fond of a lot of the non-horror Stephen King short stories and novellas that have seen great success in TV and the movies. I'm thinking stuff like Stand By Me, Shawshank Redemption, that sort of stuff really speaks to me. So I appreciate King as a storyteller. So it'll be interesting to see Kubrick's take on him. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to recognize so much of this, but I don't know the through line. I don't know the details of the plot. I know the general gist. Jack Nicholson, sorry, noises in the hall. Jack Nicholson, wife Shelly Duvall, and their kid are winter caretakers of a hotel up in the Rockies, and then weird stuff starts to happen. What all that weird stuff is and what the explanation is the stuff that I don't fully know. And the other reason I really wanted to actually get The Shining under my belt is because I'm also going to be watching Dr. Sleep, because I wanted to check out a Mike Flanagan movie. It was highly recommended to me. It's the sequel to The Shining, something like 40 years later, so that intrigues me. So I need the backstory, and I need the original, and I need a Kubrick under my belt. Jack Nicholson is very hit or miss for me. I love some of his stuff. His Jack Giddies in Chinatown is brilliant. I think his interpretation of the Joker is forgotten because it was kind of superseded by Heath Ledger's, but go back and watch Nicholson's Joker. Genius stuff there. And yet there's other stuff that Nicholson's done that just doesn't speak to me. So I don't know what I'm in for here. Whether I'm going to connect with his character here or whether I'm going to feel disconnected, but I know I'm going to get a manic, crazy performance. I think Nicholson is great for a role like this, but we'll talk more about that at the end. I'm really eager to jump into this and experience a classic for sort of the first time. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I'm very familiar with so much of the imagery of this movie, and yet I've never actually sat down and watched it. It's just so pervasive in the culture. Anyway, let's jump into it, guys. This is The Shining from 1980. Chopper shot? Yeah, this is long before drones. This would be a classic drone shot now, but music's interesting too. Like the music doesn't fit the image at all. It's very dissonant. It's very claustrophobic music, and yet it's super wide open vistas, crazy big landscapes. Well, they had fun with the chopper, that's for sure. Like, this is the kind of music you'd expect from Apocalypse Now or something.
Hi, I've got an appointment with Mr. Ullman. My name's Jack Torrance.
Do you really want to go and live in that hotel for the winter?
Sure I do. It'll be lots of fun.
I guess so.
What about Tony? He's looking forward to the hotel, I bet.
I don't want to go there, Mrs. Torrance.
Well, how come you don't want to go?
I just don't.
We're all gonna have a real good time.
No foreboding there.
I'm a writer. Teaching's been more or less a way of making ends meet.
That's Stephen King's backstory.
The winters can be fantastically cruel. A tremendous sense of isolation.
Cabin fever.
Well, that just happens to be exactly what I'm looking for.
I don't suppose they told you anything in Denver about the tragedy we had up here during the winter of 1970?
I don't believe they did.
10 years ago? Okay.
Hired a man named Charles Grady as the winter caretaker. And he came up here with his wife and two little girls. He killed his family with an axe. He put both barrels of a shotgun in his mouth.
Jeez. Tons of foreshadowing.
That's not gonna happen with me.
It'll be good for my story.
Do you think Dad'll get the job? He already did.
Kid's got an imaginary friend, but it's a creepy imaginary friend. Tony.
Tony, why don't you want to go to the hotel? I don't know.
42.
You do too know. Now come on, tell me.
And this movie came out 42 years ago.
Don't want to.
Whoa. We're into this already? Whoa. I mean, they're beautiful shots. Don't get me wrong, but I had no idea we were getting into that stuff this early.
Good boy.
Did he pass out, or what happened to him in the real world?
Do you remember if you smelled anything funny, or saw any bright flashing lights, or anything at all strange?
Oh, maybe he's epileptic or something.
Does Tony ever tell you to do things?
I don't want to talk about Tony anymore.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
He dislocated his shoulder.
Her cigarette
Just one of those
ashes
things, you know,
bugging me.
purely an accident. Danny had scattered some of his school papers all over the room, and my husband grabbed his arm, you know, to pull him away from him.
Okay. Physical abuse.
He hasn't had any alcohol in 5 months.
Man, it's nothing but foreboding so far. Like, nothing about this winter's gonna go well. So this is October 30th, the day before Halloween. Which, if everything goes accordingly, is the day this is coming out on YouTube. So
The air feels so different.
here we go. Kid should put on a
I'm
seatbelt.
hungry.
Well, you should have eaten your breakfast.
What was the donut party? Don't worry, Mom. I know all about cannibalism. I saw it on TV.
See? It's okay.
Nicholson's
Saw it
eyebrows,
on the
man.
television.
He always looks like he's like half a second from just blowing up. Snap zoom. Oh, are these the two girls that were killed 10 years ago? Super frickin' creepy.
Well, it's very, homey.
Yeah.
I don't seem excited at all.
Doc. You called Danny Doc twice just now.
Oh,
I did?
Yeah.
What's up, Doc?
alright, so something's up with the chef.
Post toasters, corn flakes, sugar puffs, Rice Krispies, oatmeal, wheat dealing.
Let's get crazy with the
We got
background
a
music.
dozen jugs
What's the
of
kid seeing now?
We got 60 boxes.
What's up, Doc?
How'd you like some ice cream, Doc?
Whoa, they like communicated subconsciously then.
Do you know how I knew your name was Doc?
Alright, what's going on?
My grandmother, she called it shining.
Okay.
And for a long time, I thought it was just the two of us that had to shine to us. How long have you been able to do it?
I'm not supposed to.
Who says you ain't supposed to?
Tony?
Tony.
Has Tony ever told you anything about this place?
Not to come.
I guess you could say the Overlook Hotel here has something about it that's like shining.
Is there something bad here?
Talk to the hotel without... It's buried on... It's an ancient Indian burial ground. There's definitely something bad here.
What about room 237?
What about what?
Room 237?
237.
You're scared of room 237, ain't you?
Is that where the murder happened?
Stay out.
Presumably that's where the murder happened 10 years earlier? Okay. All by our lonesome. Big wheels. Really strong dolly work. Smoothed out those carpet rolls. Interesting. Oh, this is just Kubrick showing off. Strong work by the dolly grip on that one.
What time is it?
It's about 11:30.
Jeez.
How about taking me for a walk after you finish your breakfast?
Seeing him only in reflection in this shot.
Try to do some writing first.
Interesting choice.
When I came up here for my interview, it was as though I'd been here before.
The loser has to keep America clean. How's that?
All right.
And you're gonna lose.
Only winners keep America clean.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Interesting camera work. Though that pullback is so fluid, and I don't know, I feel like it's shot on a really wide angle, and it just feels so claustrophobic and disorienting. Not that way. Ring the bell if you can't find your way out. Oh, that's fun. If it's really that scale, that's a huge frickin' maze. Oh, we're getting down to named days. Things are gonna start going weird. Man. Such a low shot, it's so cool. Oh, did you just go past 237? Yeah. Don't do it, Doc. They'd all be locked, right? Yeah. Kubrick does love his symmetric shots, doesn't he? The score is what's doing it for me right now. It's so unsettling.
Fine.
Get a lot written today?
Cuts off as soon as he pulls the paper out. What's going on, Jack? What's wrong?
When I'm in here, that means that I am working. That means don't come in. How do you think you
Jeez,
can
Jack.
handle that?
I'm watching Barry right now on Patreon, and Bill Hader's done a very good job of channeling Jack Nicholson. Oh god, he's frightening at this already. Just not moving. Jesus. Oh, music. So uncomfortable. No phone lines.
Most winters, they stay that way until spring. Over?
No phone all winter. Jeez. Alright. No phones. Radio on all the time. Danny's still pedaling around. Exploring the whole hotel. We're way further behind him this time. Why? Why? It's like we're something else now. Now we're just like, we're him, but we're above him now, too. Oh. Just for that reveal.
Danny, come and play with us.
Ah!
Forever and ever.
Dear God. Dear God. Okay. They must be the two girls that were killed 10 years ago. Probably stacked up in 237 by their dad before he killed himself. That makes all sense, right?
It isn't real.
Yeah. Okay. Kid's got his coping mechanism. I might have to break out my blanket. I only went to bed a couple hours ago.
Come here for a minute first.
Really interesting framing. Shot composition.
How's it going, Dad?
Why don't you go to sleep?
I got too much to do.
Too much to do.
Do you like this hotel?
I'm very happy here.
I do. I wish we could stay here forever, ever, ever.
The girl said forever and ever too.
Yeah.
Whew. Oh. Is that from the girls? Oh, God. Is that 237 with the door open? God damn, it is. Oh, he's slow creeping shot. I find this interesting because we're seeing what Mom and Danny are experiencing, but we're really only seeing the result of what Jack's experiencing.
I dreamed that I killed you and Danny.
Oh, he's got the Shining too.
Danny, why did you lie to me?
I'm worried that something's wrong with Danny.
What happened to your neck?
He went into room 237. What happened to him there? Danny?
You did this to him. Didn't you?
That doesn't
You
make
son
sense.
of a bitch!
But he didn't. But you can guess what you get why she might think that because of the history with the dislocated shoulder and everything. But oh man, jeez, Jack. No drinks.
My goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
Oh no.
Hi, Lloyd. A little slow tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Mr. Torrance.
White man's burden, Lloyd, my man. White man's burden.
White man's burden. That's a Kipling reference.
How's my credit in this joint?
Not a
anyway?
good one either.
Your credit's fine, Mr. Torrance.
Here's to 5 miserable months on the wagon and all the irreparable harm that it's caused me.
Now, is this real booze or imaginary booze? Like, is this all in his head?
Women can't live with them, can't live without them.
Pass the beer nuts.
There's a crazy woman in one of the rooms. She tried to strangle Danny.
Which room was it?
237.
Local beaches should be jammed. Our weather
Can you shine from Florida to Colorado? He sees the door open. Man, the soundtrack in this is just so unnerving. Oh God. There's someone in there. God, he looks inhuman. And I know where this is going, so I'm So freaking on edge. One more terrible thing that happened in this hotel. Did it all happen in room 237, or did it happen in a bunch of... It's the history of bad things in the hotel. Phone lines are down. Not going to reach the hotel.
Did you find anything?
No, nothing at all.
What about those bruises on his neck?
He did it to himself.
We're going to gaslight Mom like that? Jeez.
Jack. I think we have to get Danny out of here.
Leave the hotel? I am not gonna let you fuck this up.
Oh, he's just a loathsome character. I mean, it doesn't help that the hotel's messing with him, but... Oh, post-New Year's or something.
Good evening, Mr. Torrance.
20s. I love that flapper fashion. Hilarious. The jet set before there was a jet set.
Your money's no good here.
Okay.
Orders from the house.
Okay.
I'm the kind of man likes to know who's buying their drinks, Lloyd.
It's not a matter that concerns you, Mr. Torrance. At least not at this point.
How ominous.
Freddie's Abercar said he tends to stain.
Is this to put him in 20s garb?
What do they call you around here, Jeevesy?
Grady, sir. Delbert Grady.
Delbert Grady.
Oh, was he the guy that killed his family 10 years ago?
Weren't you once the caretaker here?
Why, no, sir.
You, chopped your wife and daughter up into little bits.
That's strange, sir. I don't have any recollection of that at all.
You were the caretaker here.
But you are the caretaker.
Yeah.
You've always been the caretaker.
Oh. Forever and ever. He's always...
Did you know, Mr. Torrance, that your son is attempting to bring an outside party into this situation? Your son has a very great talent. A rather naughty boy, if I may be so bold, sir.
This is all very dreamlike.
It's his mother.
These don't feel like real conversations, you know? They feel...
interferes.
Disjointed, and they've got
Perhaps they need a good talking to.
Yeah.
If you don't
it's almost like they're speaking in code. But I don't think they are. It's just...
a bit more.
Just have to tell him that we're going by ourselves. That's all there is to it.
Red Rock!
Oh, God.
Red Rock!
Oh, dear God.
Daddy? Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance. Danny's gone away, Mrs. Torrance.
Awesome casting on this kid. Holy jeez.
KDK-1, calling KDK-12. Do you read me?
Alright, let's destroy the radio. Okay. That's not good. Oh, he's flying in. He's that concerned. Danny reached out to him. I guess he realizes.
I'm gonna need a snowcat to get up there, Larry. Can you fix me up with one?
Will probably be closed within the hour. Yeah, they're just not prepared. The storm will continue throughout the day.
Watching something like this, you really understand the change in movie telling style. And I mean, Kubrick's certainly an extreme case of it, but the pacing of this it's so much more drawn out. You know, we're in these scenes, you know, with, you know, in the plane or in the car, and instead of spending 5 seconds to just tell the story that he's on his way to Denver, we're in the scene for a minute as he asks the stewardess, when are we going to land, that sort of thing. Or, you know, we're listening to the full radio broadcast while in the car. The information can be given much quicker, but there's choices made.
In just about 5 minutes. I'm gonna lock the door behind
But it's definitely a different experience in watching almost any movie today. We've been trained to digest story differently.
Jack?
Great composition. I know it's coming, but it doesn't change the... What's on it? What's on it? I like that they're not uniform. A dull bog, a dull bot, a dill boy. Look at it all. Look at no play makes Jack a dub. The props department must have spent so much freaking time on the typewriter for this. And here he comes.
How do you like it?
Oh, the soundtrack, man. Who's the composer?
What do you want to talk about?
Nicholson's so, like, emotionally threatening.
Maybe it was about Danny.
Psychologically threatening.
I think we should discuss what should be done.
Good Rob.
I think you have some very definite ideas about what should be done with Danny, and I'd like to know what they are. Has it ever occurred to you what would happen to my future if I were to fail to live up to my responsibilities? Has it ever occurred to you? Has it?
Stay away from me. Please.
Darling, light of my life, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. Stop swinging the bat. Wendy, give me the bat. Give me the bat. Ah, God damn!
He's not dead. She cracked him good, though. Here, pull the pin. Come on. Come on, Wendy, you're a smart woman. Yeah, pull the pin.
Hey, wait a minute!
I feel like there's an emergency release on the inside of those doors. But maybe not in 1980, there wasn't.
Wendy, listen! Baby, I think you hurt my head real bad. You're not going anywhere.
What did he do to the snowcat? Same sort of thing he did to the radio? I mean, he's halfway to the Joker here already. Wow. Yeah.
Wendy?
Peanut butter, Oreos, peanuts. Man had himself.
Grady, Mr. Torrance. Delbert Grady.
Oh. What?
Grady.
He's always been.
Your heart is not in this.
Just give me one more chance to prove it, Mr. Grady. I give you my word.
The hotel's just letting him out. Oh, here comes Scatman. Danny, don't do anything bad to your mom. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Don't hurt yourself either, kid. We all know what red rum is, but good on the kid being able to draw the R both ways in one take.
Red rum! Red rum! Red rum! Red rum! Red rum!
Oh, nice establishing on that giant snow pile. Whee! She's not going to get through that, is she?
Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. Here's Johnny.
Well, we got the one light, a few lights of the hotel. Okay, we're here, we're here. Good kid, smart thinking. So many hiding places in a hotel. She's right there. Just stick your head out the window and say, help.
Anybody here?
Jesus! Holy crap, that caught me. I had no idea. Holy crap. I was not expecting that.
Danny boy?
I heard Danny scream. Shit. Danny, you should have stayed in there. Oh, he wouldn't have found you. Oh, come on. Get your shit together, Mom. Run a little bit less like a phoebe. What the hell? What the hell? Okay, there was just some furry play going on there. It shouldn't be that horrifying compared to everything else we're seeing. Did Danny go back outside? Yeah.
Danny! Danny!
Oh, man. The Steadicam and dolly work in this movie. These long pulling and pushing shots through these narrow corridors and mazes and stuff. Just awesome. And I can only imagine how many takes Kubrick demanded, because he's notorious for so many takes until things are perfect.
I'm coming!
Last thing I'd ever want to be is Kubrick's Steadicam operator, because that's a heavy rig. Yeah. Footprints. Not helpful right now, Danny. She's gonna see what's his name dead somewhere around the next corner or something. Yeah. Oh. Shit.
Great party, isn't it?
Are we doing the blood again, or... Oh, okay. Bizarre. Honestly, that's the least frightening thing that's been shown in the movie. What's the plan, Danny? Yeah, but if... Kid, you don't have enough time for this unless you can... Smart kid. Are we gonna get the river of blood again? Yeah. I think she was hired for her bug eyes, because she does great bug eyes. Okay, and then what happens when they just stop? What do you do then? You know he backtracked. Stay hidden, Danny. Stay hidden. Quiet. Quiet. Don't stop. Is he still stuck in there? Alright, they're getting away. This is a good thing. Still stuck in the maze. Just cut to that. Alright. And now we get the photo reveal. But now it's in context for me. July 4th ball. Might be Groucho Marx in behind him there. Yeah, we see him. 21. Garrett Brown deserves a applause. I like that they singled him out because that was not necessary, but they did, because that man had a big role in the look of this film. But that was in Oregon. Okay. Wow. Well, you know what? I'm really glad I saw it, and this was a lot of fun. Even though, you know what? How to put this? I like this a lot more than I typically like Kubrick's films. I always appreciate the technical proficiency of Kubrick's films. There's a ton that goes into the filmmaking, the technical side of it, but I don't often connect with his characters or his stories quite so much. But this was different, and maybe that's because it's based on Stephen King's story. It's a more personal story. While there's certainly some ambiguity, there's less ambiguity than in some of his other works, and it was a more straightforward story in that regard, and I was more invested. Nicholson was... This is what people envision when they think of Nicholson. This kind of performance, this manic rage that he can just sort of turn on and off, and it's frightening as heck. He's not a physically imposing man, but he's an emotionally intimidating man. You just would not want to get on his wrong side because you feel like he could do anything to you. And this, I'd be very curious to see what kind of direction Kubrick gave Nicholson, because this feels very much like a natural Nicholson performance. We see this kind of vibe from Nicholson all the time, so I wonder how far Kubrick tried to steer him in another direction, or just let Jack be Jack, if you know what I mean. Because Kubrick is infamous, perhaps more than any other director, for doing countless takes, asking for different variations from actors, asking for perfection from every aspect of the shot. And maybe he just wanted what Jack was giving, and that would be great. But I do wonder whether this might have been an easier direction job for him in that sense, because this didn't feel like Jack trying to do anything other than be pure iconic Nicholson. I like that there is some ambiguity and some non sequiturs to this, but I feel like it almost detracted from the main story. I never knew what The Shining itself was. The Shining is, and I never really knew much about Danny's role in the movie. I knew that there was the little boy. I knew he pedaled around on his big wheel, and I knew he had these encounters with the two girls in the matching blue dresses and all of that creepy stuff. But I didn't know that the kid had the shining, and he connected to he could communicate with this cook basically telepathically, but that because of something about the site of the hotel itself could communicate its past and its future to others who had the shining as well. I like that setup, and it was a slow, like the first act was just the setup, wasn't it? It was just the job interview and learning a bit about Danny's imaginary friend and about the one time Jack Torrance hurt his son and injured his shoulder, and how Jack's sober for 5 months, and all of these things that just sort of lend a sense of ominous foreboding for what is surely to come. Nobody's going to go watch The Shining without knowing that it's a psychological thriller / horror movie. And so you see the setup. It's all spelled out for us. And I like that. We certainly took our time. Could it have been done quicker? Absolutely. Would it have been... It would have just been a different style. Kubrick takes his time. He knows he can. It was a different time as far as filmmaking goes. People spent more time taking their time in a scene, spelling things out. Audiences were maybe not quite as savvy, so you see things like the very last shot in the movie where we reveal the photo. We do the long creep in on the photo, and then we go to an even tighter lens showing Jack at the front of the crowd, and then we go even tighter right on his face so that we're sure that we know who it is, and then we pan down to see the caption once again, just to prove that, hey, this somehow or other Jack was there in 1921. Or is there now in 21? Did the same sort of thing happen to him that happened to Grady? Because Grady said when Jack started hopping, like having these experiences in the bar, first just with the bartender and then with the whole party, he basically started flashing back in time. And Grady said, he had always been there, and Jack had always been the caretaker. But there's some ambiguity on how you interpret all of that and exactly what happened at the end. Is Jack dead? Is he in the past? Is what? I mean, the good news is mom and son got away. Danny outsmarted his dad, basically, in the maze. Good on him, good kid. Honestly, Danny was the highlight of the movie for me because the performance was incredibly good from this kid, and because so much of the plot and so much time is spent with the kid in the film, the casting of that role is so important. And I honestly don't think many kids could pull it off. Doing the split personality thing with the imaginary friend, super creepy looks, but also able to do fright incredibly well. Just a really impressive performance by a young actor. It's interesting, as an assistant director, I think about if I was given this script and someone said, hey, you want to do this movie? My first thought would be, absolutely, I'm all over it. It's the kind of script you dream of as an assistant director. The vast majority of your filming is only 2, 3, 4 actors. Yeah, there's like 2 days with a bunch of extras, like the day of the job interview / the end of season day. And then there's the day of filming, which is the I guess it would be a July 4th party, not a New Year's Eve party because it's closed for New Year's, but you know what I mean. The one party from the 1920s. But the vast majority of your filming days, very few cast. All of it's one location, minus 1 day of filming in a Boulder apartment, which could have easily been done in a room in the hotel itself. So your entire shoot is in one location. Lovely. You never have to think about a midday move or, how long it takes to pack down the set and the trucks to load in and drive over to your next location and all the rest of it. Like, logistically, it's lovely. And then I would read more into it. And then I would hear it was Kubrick directing. And I can't imagine what it's like ADing for Kubrick, just because of all that takes. How much time do you budget for a scene? knowing that you could go well over 100 takes, even if it's just like a half-page scene. That might take you all day, or you might get it done in a couple hours, and then you like the flexibility that you would need to have shooting with Kubrick. But then I would read even more into the script, and I'd go, oh, there's this whole extended chase scene in this labyrinth, which may or may not be actual snow, probably isn't, but footprint in the snow is a major plot device in the labyrinth. And how many and we're shooting this all in Steadicam, so it's going to need to be perfect. How many takes are we going to need that? And every take you do, if you cut and go again, you have to make that snow virgin again. You have to sweep out all the snow, all the footprints, reset everything, going again, over and over. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. I want to find out about the behind the scenes of this movie. How many days did they spend filming in the hedge maze at the end there? Just Jack and Danny, because that's crazy. It's cool because so much of it was familiar to me. You know, from red rum to the river of blood gushing out of the elevators to the two creepiest girls ever on film. Here's Johnny, the hedge maze, all of it's so iconic. Even the final shot of dead Jack frozen to death. The all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All of these things are super familiar, whether you've actually seen clips or GIFs, whether it's a parody or, you know, this is even the kind of script that gets studied in screenwriting classes and in filmmaking classes. So even if you've never seen it, it's so easy to have been exposed to this movie for years and years. So I have all these disjointed memories of this film that I've never actually seen, and now I finally get to tie them all together, and it's a really interesting story that I didn't know what it was all about. I thought it was more, I didn't realize there was sort of this mystical element to it. I thought it was more of just a cabin fever gone to the extreme. But I dig it. And I like that we don't know exactly what happens to Jack. Like, Jack's by no means a perfect man to begin with. He's not living a happy life. And anyone who wants a job like this in the first place, a struggling writer who's shown physical abuse to his son in the past, who had a drinking problem, he's now dragging his family out to this hotel in the middle of nowhere. It's not a happy home life for these three. But Mom's going along with it because she's trying to sell her son on it. But all you need to see is her look when they first arrive and the tour and everything. She's trying to put on a brave face, but you can tell she's not excited by the prospect. And then there's Jack, and we don't. The interesting thing is we see what Danny sees. But we don't see what's happening to Jack, and yet we see Jack devolving. When did the hotel get its hooks in him? Does Jack have some sort of shining ability himself? Danny might have, like, is it genetic? Did Danny get it from him? And is it just affecting them very differently? I like that there's questions like that. But I could also see if you were the writer of the original story and you had spelled things out in a particular way, and that is removed and it's left more ambiguous, how that might rub you the wrong way. I don't know precisely why King was unhappy with Kubrick's adaptation, but now that I've seen the film, I'd like to learn more about that. What was it about the adaptation that he wasn't happy with? But yeah, man, that was super cool. I feel like I needed to check that one off my list. I'm really glad I did. And I'm excited to jump into Dr. Sleep now, because all I know about it is it takes place essentially modern day, and it's grown-up Danny. So what's that kid like now? Man. I can only wonder. Anyway, thank you guys so much for spending a little time with me here today on Neil Talks. It's always a pleasure. I'm having fun getting back into movies. I'm trying to do them as frequently as I can, but I've also got a very busy TV schedule to stay on top of. So hopefully things will slow down a smidge in the new year and we can aim towards movies every week. No promises, but that's kind of my ultimate goal, just so you guys are aware. But in the meantime, happy Halloween, and until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.